My boyfriend won $20 million in the lottery and immediately broke up with me. Our social classes are different. You're too low for me. Then he turned around and hooked up with a coworker. I laughed. He forgot that the lottery ticket was from the previous draw. I rolled down the window of my Maserati and said to them, "You two are way too low for me. Let's break up." Luana just won $20 million in the lottery. Daniel stood in front of me, his expression smug as he spoke those words. All because of that? I asked, looking at him. Of course. You've probably never even seen that much money, have you? My mom says there are different classes of people. Now that we've made it to the top, you and I aren't on the same level anymore. I couldn't help but laugh. 20 million, and they think they're part of high society. I didn't even have time to tell him that my dad owns several buildings that bring in more than $20 million a year in rent, not to mention his companies. But it's fine. Honestly, I was glad to get rid of someone like him. Better to cut ties early. No tears over love, just sleepless nights thinking about money. Daniel glanced at me. By the way, even though you paid for the $50 lottery ticket, I'm the one who bought it, so don't expect a penny from me. He always had this habit of buying lottery tickets, dreaming of getting rich overnight. But when it came time to pay, he'd always have an excuse. His phone was dead, or his payment didn't go through, because the bank really cares about a few bucks, right? My mom doesn't like you either, Daniel added. She thinks you're tacky. Remember the last time you met her? You gave her some cheap no-name gifts. You embarrassed us. You embarrassed yourself, I shot back. God must have spilled wisdom all over the world, but your family held up an umbrella. I still remember the first time I met his mom. I gave her a pure wool scarf designed by an Italian luxury designer worth 5 figures and a bottle of French haute couture perfume. Now it's apparently a cheap no-name gift to them, like a catfish splashing water and thinking it's seafood. Daniel continued, I won't argue with you, because I'm an elite. But since we're breaking up, let's settle things. Why don't you sell back the gifts I gave you? Typical Daniel. Even winning the lottery doesn't change his stinginess. No need. I still have all the stuff you gave me. I'll return every bit of it. Your $9.99 skincare set? I was too scared to use it in case it ruined my skin. That $19.99 shirt and tie set? I didn't want to wear it in case I broke out in hives. And that $10 box of bread? I was worried it'd make me sick, and not even the medical bills would cover it. The crowd around us burst into laughter. Daniel's face turned red as he snapped back. Don't just bring that up. What about all the money I gave you? Didn't I send you cash? You sure did, I nodded, pulling out my phone to check the records. Valentine's Day, $5.20. 4th of July, $6.60. Christmas, $8.80. You're so thoughtful, so generous. I laughed. Even my cousin in elementary school gives me more than that. I used to think he was so sweet and attentive that I didn't care about the little things. But now, looking back, I must have had water on the brain. Enough to fill the entire Lake Michigan. Daniel puffed out his chest. That was the past. Things are different now. I've won $20 million. I can buy whatever I want, and you no longer deserve to be with me. I nodded. All right. In that case, why don't you return the gifts I gave you? Daniel laughed. The stuff you gave me? It's all knockoffs, isn't it? How much could it be worth? Daniel grew up poor. His dad passed away early, and he and his mom depended on each other to protect his fragile ego. I always cut the tags off the gifts I gave him, and they didn't have any flashy logos. That belt you're wearing? Gucci limited edition, $10,000. Those shoes, C brand, $15,000. That jacket, also C brand, $30,000. I listed them off one by one. Daniel's face fell. You think I'm an idiot? You couldn't afford the real thing. You must have just bought some knockoffs to fool me. Because he couldn't tell real from fake, I pulled out my phone. Here's the purchase history and receipts. If you don't believe me, go check with the store. And the scarf and perfume I gave your mom? They weren't any cheaper than the stuff I gave you, but I'll let that go. Just give me $100,000 for everything else I've gifted you. In reality, I'd spent over $200,000 on him over the years. But if I asked for that, his mom would probably make my life a nightmare. Daniel gritted his teeth. Who knows if what you gave me was real or fake? Let's call it $50,000. I'll give you $10,000 now, and the rest once I cash in the lottery. Fine by me, even though it's a drop in the bucket compared to my bank balance. Who says no to more money? After receiving the $10,000 in my account, I stood up and said to Daniel, "Thanks, Daniel. That's the first time you've been so generous. He looked pained, but still spat back. Good. Don't ever come looking for me again, loser. And don't ever try to contact me. I'm afraid your bad luck will mess up my fortune. I nodded vigorously, making sure he saw me agree. After Daniel left, I told my driver to bring my Bentley around from the garage. I'm done pretending. That night, Daniel posted on Instagram. There were 2 photos, one of a lottery ticket and another of him taking a selfie at the Maserati dealership. The caption read, "Just focus on working hard and loving yourself. Luck will follow you if you smile enough." I almost gagged on my dinner. As I was about to delete his number, something about that lottery ticket caught my attention. The numbers weren't fully visible, but the draw number was clear, 381. However, the winning numbers for draw 381 didn't match those on his ticket. I quickly checked the results online and realized Daniel had mistaken the previous draw's numbers as the winning ones. He must have watched a replay or checked the wrong draw, thinking he'd won $20 million. This was about to get interesting. I couldn't wait to see his face when he found out the truth. While taking a break at work, I overheard Bianca, the office gold digger, bragging to a coworker. "My boyfriend just moved into Ridgewood Heights." I froze. What a coincidence. My dad had bought me a place there too, though I rarely stayed. Since Daniel worked nearby, I had given him a key to use the place when he worked late. I told him it was rented. He moved in without a second thought, never questioning how the rent probably cost more than his monthly salary. I was already thinking about taking the keys back when Bianca added, "He calls me his lucky girl. Ever since we got together, he won $20 million. Everyone around her gasped in envy. "Wait, Ridgewood Heights? $20 million? Hesitantly, I asked, "Does your boyfriend happen to be named Daniel?" Bianca shot me a wary look. "You know him? Don't even think about stealing him just because he's rich. He's way out of your league." Of course, it was him. Daniel had been seeing Bianca while we were still together. Did he seriously think Bianca was high society material? If my dad knew about this, he'd die laughing. Bianca always flaunted fake designer bags, switching them up every day. To someone like Daniel, who couldn't even tell real from fake, she must have looked like a wealthy princess. A perfect match, really. 2 gold diggers finding each other. Best wishes. Please stay together forever. That evening, Bianca posted on Instagram a photo of her and Daniel with the caption, "No more waiting. The one I've been waiting for is here." 5 minutes later, Daniel posted their picture too, with the cringeworthy caption, "Us." Later, the manager of my favorite luxury store texted me, letting me know they'd just received new stock and invited me to check it out. Since I had nothing better to do, I decided to swing by. As soon as I walked in, there they were, Daniel and Bianca. The only sales associate in the store glanced at me and completely ignored me, continuing to serve them with a big smile. Bianca was decked out in a logo-plastered outfit, though it was last season's collection. Meanwhile, I was wearing a simple t-shirt and carrying a canvas bag. No wonder the saleswoman thought I wasn't worth her time. Bianca noticed me too. "What kind of people are they letting into this store?" she sneered. Daniel added, "What are you doing here, Luana? You can't afford anything in this store." I smiled. "Oh, did your family open this store?" I didn't realize I needed permission to look around. The saleswoman, clearly siding with them, said, "I'm sorry, miss, but the lowest priced item in our store is $30,000. If you can't afford it, you really shouldn't waste your time." I couldn't help but laugh. Inside, she had no idea who she was backing. After showing Bianca several bags, I overheard her tell Daniel, "Baby, I want this one, and the second one in that row too." The sales associate beamed. "You have such great taste, miss. These are our best sellers. You've got an excellent eye." Bianca, pleased, slung one of the bags over her shoulder and admired herself in the mirror. Then she noticed me. "Luana, aren't you embarrassed carrying that cheap canvas bag? Don't you have a job?" I replied calmly, "I'm carrying a canvas bag because I'm planning to go grocery shopping later. Gotta think green, save the planet." "What's wrong with that? Does your family live by the sea or something? Why are you so concerned?" Frustrated, Bianca turned back to Daniel. "I want this one, that one, and the other one. I want them all." Trying to sound generous, Daniel said, "Buy them, baby." The saleswoman's eyes sparkled with glee. I picked up a black handbag to take a closer look, but the saleswoman stormed over. "I'm sorry, miss, but this is our latest model. It costs $150,000 and is only available to our VVIP clients. Please don't touch it. You might get it dirty." Bianca laughed. Luana, don't get your filthy hands on that bag. You couldn't afford it even if you sold yourself. I was about to fire back when a sharp voice came from the entrance. Who said Luana can't afford it? The saleswoman panicked. Manager, you're back. Amanda, the store manager, walked in and immediately apologized to me.
I'm so sorry, Luana.
I went to grab your coffee. This new employee didn't know any better. She turned to the saleswoman and added, Luana is one of our VVIP clients. She gets first pick of all new stock. Only after she passes on something can we offer it to other customers. The saleswoman's face turned pale as she hurriedly apologized. Daniel's face turned red. You must be mistaken. Luana is just a regular office worker. How could she be one of your VIPs? Don't let her fool you. Amanda glared at Daniel and Bianca. The threshold for being a VVIP at the store is spending over $1 million annually. She turned back to me. I'm sorry, but I'll have to ask these two to leave. We're closing the store for you. I was still processing the scene at the store when the door closed behind Daniel and Bianca. The manager, Amanda, escorted me to the VIP lounge, where I was offered a coffee and some catalogs of the latest collections. My initial plan was just to spend some time, maybe buy something to distract myself, but the humiliation Daniel and Bianca had just endured gave me an unexpected sense of satisfaction. No matter how much Daniel tried to climb the social ladder at others' expense, he would never understand what it truly meant to be at the top. As I flipped through the catalogs, Amanda approached me, concerned. I hope their behavior didn't ruin your experience, Luana. Should I send a formal notice to ban them from our stores? I chuckled. No need, Amanda. I think they've gotten the message. She nodded, visibly relieved, and returned to her desk. But inside, the idea of letting this go didn't sit well with me. Daniel wasn't just ungrateful. He had crossed boundaries I didn't even know existed. Bianca, on the other hand, was just an extension of him, someone as deluded as he was. If they were willing to dig their own grave, I might as well hand them the shovel. The next day, I went to the Ridgewood Heights apartment that Daniel believed was rented. He had decorated the space with cheap furniture, clearly trying to impress Bianca with a touch of luxury. It was laughable to me. Using the spare key he never knew existed, I let myself in. The place was empty. They were probably at work, or, in his case, pretending to have a job. I got straight to the point. I changed all the locks and left a formal notice in the lobby stating that the rental agreement had been terminated. While finishing the last adjustments, the building's maintenance guy approached me. Oh, so you're the owner? Mr. Daniel requested some changes to the apartment. He said it was a gift for his girlfriend. I smirked internally. What kind of man renovates a place he doesn't even own? Don't worry, I replied, smiling. There won't be any more changes. If he shows up, just have him contact me directly. The maintenance guy looked confused but nodded. That same day, I posted a picture on social media, a panoramic view of the apartment with the caption, "Nothing like coming back home after a long trip. Missed my little place." It didn't take long for people to notice. Bianca was the first to comment. Weird, I thought this was my boyfriend's apartment. I ignored the comment, but inside, I felt a wave of satisfaction. That evening, Daniel sent me an angry text. Luana, what are you doing? Why did you change the locks? This isn't fair. I replied calmly, Daniel, the agreement was temporary, remember? I decided to end it. You have a new life now. You don't need this place anymore. He tried to push back. But Bianca is already planning to move in here. You can't do this to us. I laughed, but kept my response formal. Oh, I absolutely can. By the way, I suggest you find another place quickly. Ridgewood Heights isn't for everyone, you know? Daniel didn't respond, but I knew he got the message. Still, I knew he wouldn't give up easily, so I decided to prepare for the next steps. I called my lawyer and asked him to review any paperwork that could link Daniel or Bianca to the apartment. Everything was in my name, but I wanted to ensure there were no loopholes for them. In the following days, I noticed Daniel trying to save face on social media. He posted old pictures, pretending he was still living in luxury. Bianca, meanwhile, started flaunting handbags and shoes that were clearly borrowed or bought with money Daniel no longer had. Their lies were becoming more evident by the day. The final blow came one peaceful morning. I decided to stop by the office where Bianca and I worked. She was in the hallway, surrounded by coworkers, spinning one of her ridiculous stories. When she saw me, her smile vanished. What are you doing here? Thought you'd find it funny to show up after everything. I smiled. Bianca, sweetheart, I'm just here to pick up some documents. But since I'm here, I wanted to congratulate you. You really found someone who matches you. You're the perfect couple. So obsessed with status, you can't even see reality. The coworkers around her fell silent. Bianca tried to respond, but before she could, I added, "Oh, and just so you know, Daniel didn't win $20 million. He mixed up the lottery numbers. Maybe you should suggest he buy another ticket with the change from your fake handbags." Her expression changed entirely. For the first time, Bianca was speechless. I walked away without looking back, knowing their little charade was over. As I made my way to my car, I realized that revenge wasn't just about exposing them, it was about showing them they could never reach the level they pretended to be on. When I got into my car, I took a deep breath. Some people never learn, but I learned something valuable. Never underestimate the power of showing the truth, especially to those who live on lies. A few weeks had passed since the events that exposed Daniel and Bianca. Life moved on for me, but the consequences for them were swift and, to be honest, well-deserved. Starting with Daniel, his illusion of wealth crumbled as quickly as he tried to build his luxury life. After being kicked out of the Ridgewood Heights apartment, he attempted to rent a cheaper place, but without any real savings, he ended up moving back in with his mom. He tried to maintain the facade on social media, posting old pictures and pretending he still had money, but comments started rolling in. "Where's your rich girlfriend? What happened to the $20 million, Daniel?" He deleted his accounts shortly after. I heard that for a while. He went back to buying lottery tickets, hoping to make a comeback. Ironic, isn't it? Bianca, on the other hand, faced an even more humiliating downfall. The truth about her relationship with Daniel began to spread around the office. The fact that she had invested so much in a man who didn't even have the money he claimed became a running joke among coworkers. Some people started questioning how she could afford her designer bags and shoes on her salary. Eventually, she quit, unable to handle the stares and whispers. Rumor has it she's now trying to find another wealthy boyfriend, but her reputation precedes her. As for me, life has never been more peaceful. With the apartment free again, I decided to turn it into something meaningful. I converted the space into a kind of refuge for young women starting their careers who need a place to stay. Knowing I'm doing something valuable with what Daniel used as a way to show off has given me a sense of fulfillment that no amount of money could buy. Social media? I'm still active, but my posts haven't changed. I continue to share small parts of my life, but without any pretense. That's something Daniel and Bianca never understood: the power of quiet confidence and authenticity. My life doesn't need to be displayed to be remarkable. In the end, the lesson I've learned is clear. Some people don't want to grow. They want to skip steps, even if it means stepping on others. But time has a funny way of setting things straight. Daniel and Bianca learned that the hard way, and me? I learned that the best revenge is moving forward, keeping your head high, and letting the universe take care of the rest. I close this chapter with a sense of relief. Not because I saw them fail, but because I know I'm finally free of them.
Completely.